Brunson and Cat make the All-Star game for the 2024-2025 season, showcasing that New York has a star power to bring on a third guy or bring on players to help them win a championship. But there's one thing that might be in the way of all of that. Hit that rock. So before we get started, make sure to hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the dark notification bell to get each and every notification for each and every video. It's your boy G Malicia Knicks. Let's get it. Now, I just want to highlight some things with this All-Star game. Now, congrats to Jalen Brunson, two-time All-Star. His two coming with the Knicks, obviously. And then Karl-Anthony-Towns, this will be his fifth time going to the All-Star game. It's the first time since 1975. Regards to two starters from the Knicks being in the All-Star game. That was back then with Walt Clyde Frazier and Earl the Pearl Monroe. The first time since 2012-2013 a Knicks center has been chosen. Back then it was Tyson Chandler who was chosen alongside Carmelo Anthony. And look, both are deserving. You got Jalen Brunson putting up 26 points a game on 48.6% shooting from the field, 39% from three, and 7.3 assists a game. Now, people might say his scoring is down. I look at it a different way. I look at it as that he doesn't have to do everything regarding the offense like he had in previous years. This year, he has so many other weapons to go to. Guys are relatively healthy for the most part, so he doesn't have to be this prolific scorer like he was last year. And let's be honest, his stats this season will actually be a lot of other players' career best. So let's be appreciative of what we've seen by Jalen Brunson evolving his game to get other guys more involved, not having to put all the pressure on his shoulders. And Karl-Anthony-Towns, let's talk about this guy. He's putting up some of his best numbers of his career. He's shooting or putting up 25 points a game on 54.5% shooting from the field, 43% from three, 13.9 total rebounds a game, all career highs. Add 3.5 assists a game, which isn't a career high, but a career high in steals at 1 a game. He's also second in total rebounds in the NBA, third in contested rebounds, and he's first in defensive contested rebounds in all of the league. And it's not just the stats of Cats that's impressive, it's a style of play. You're talking about a guy that he's now attacking the basket, it seems a lot more purposefully. His game is a lot more practical within each and every possession, attacking closeouts, eating in the post-ups. The three-point attempts aren't drastically different, but you don't feel like it's a cop-out where he's just shooting the three because he had to feel lost in the offense like he did last year with the Wolves, because you had Gobert just eating up the inside of the paint. You feel like there's a purpose to all of Cat's offense. And credit Tom Thibodeau for getting that back in Cat, getting that mindset back in Cat, the same mindset he tried to instill in him when he first coached him. But also credit Cat. I mean, the guy's turned around. I got to eat some crow on this. Cat is going from a guy who's complained when Tibbs left about 48 minutes a night. That's only one coach made me do that. To now the guy's talking about, yeah, I got the sprained thumb, but that don't really mean nothing. I got to go out there and eat. Oh, the minutes don't really get to me, man. I got to go out there. We got to go out there and perform. Like, this is a whole different Cat. I don't think he's putting on per se, but for him to finally buy into the program speaks volumes, because you got other guys in the league, other stars, young players in the league who will not listen to a fundamental coach try to improve their game. They're going to get that coach out of here. Seems to be a lot different with Cat this time around. But all in all, this All-Star game feels a little bit different, right? You look at the previous All-Star games that Knicks have made in the most recent past, guys like Julius Randle. Julius Randle, yeah, you felt like it was more of a fluke. And we all sat up here and said, oh, you hope Julius Randle could go out there to the locker room and make friends and bring some guys to the Knicks and all this other hacky crap that never really happened. It just felt like it was kind of like hokey. Like, yeah, he had the all-NBA team, first team year, but you never felt like Randle was really going to be this perennial all-star. And even last year, with Jalen Brunson making his first all-star, you still kind of felt, because it was largely a defensive rebounding team, almost like a baby version, a bootleg Tampa Cold Western Beef type version of the Iverson offense for Jalen Brunson. Just get Brunson the ball and have him figure it out. Granted, you had guys like Randle and OJ Anunoby, the beautiful month of January that the Knicks had. So it wasn't really an Iverson offense, but Brunson had a lot of control in that offense, and you felt like basically he put up some gaudy numbers, not just because of his talent and skill, which obviously it's shown to not be the case this season because he's been able to continue it and get somewhat close to those stats, but you did kind of feel like, he got a high usage. He's going to put up some numbers. Okay, get him to the All-Star game. But this year, having two players there speaks volumes, right? Knicks don't have the best offense in the league, but you do have one of the premier point guards in the league, and then you have literally the best big in the Eastern Conference. Joel Embiid has just not been 100%. And even with Joel Embiid, just seeing how Cat is playing, it's not as if you just took Cat's production from the West Side. Oh, yeah, what he did last year with the Wolves, he'd be a freaking all-star this season. You're starting to see this guy really, lack of a better word, dominate the Eastern Conference in terms of his production, his presence, his star power. His ability to get the bucket, his ability to put up points, his ability to be the best player on the court on any given night. That sounds crazy. And I got to eat crow on that because, again, I did not want the trade, but your man has been playing out of his mind, taking into Tom Thibodeau's coaching. And so you see these guys, you see Jalen Brunson, he's going to have to go out there and compete with Steph Curry's story name, whatever it is, SGA, the next, probably the best point guard in the league at this moment, individual point guard, let me say. And then his teammate, Donovan Mitchell. Right, he still has to compete against that and say he's the best point guard in the Eastern Conference, but he's going to have Cat there. They can play the two-man game, right? It's not going to be the Olympics where Brunson has to try to find his way and play with these other stars. I'm going to call them B-level Olympic stars. It's not the right way to put it. But you never felt when Brunson was on that Olympic squad or that FIBA squad that he was truly embraced as such, right? Steve Kerr tried to do his best, but you never felt like Brunson was really the main show. But now you have a guard and a center. They could run the two-man game. They could run the high pick and roll, the handoffs. And granted, I get it. Look, the All-Star game runs at 50% effort, which makes me feel disgusted. I feel like the aura of the All-Star game has gone down ever since your man LeBron back in 2012 twice dunked Kobe, and players had to say, yo, get your ass in, attack Kobe. Kobe even said, yo, you passed the ball. I want this moment. We're supposed to be warriors. LeBron ruined the All-Star game. We also talk about it later because your man, when he did not take the dunk contest, your man did not take the dunk contest, which is passed down from every star wing to every star wing, right? You got B-list wings, you got C-list wings, anybody, but you had the star wings, the Jordans, the Kobes, they all had to do the dunk contest. Dr. J, no, they didn't have to do it, but they all did it to build up their legacy and their myth. LeBron James, I would have just big friend. I mean, nowadays he got an invitation to do the skills contest, him and his son. But anyway, we understand that the All-Star game is ran at 50% capacity, but the ability to have these guys shine on the biggest stage. Jalen Brunson with the 4th high-selling jersey. Now, you're starting to see the paradigm shift, hopefully, to where now kids, instead of embracing the Curry three-point shot from the half court from freaking Turkmenistan, whichever one, Uzbekistan, whatever, shooting from freaking cross country, maybe you change that to now kids are starting to see Jalen Brunson on the big stage. They want to get the footwork down pat. They want to be able to shoot the mid-range shot, bringing back the beautiful fundamentals of yesteryear. So this is a big stage for Brunson, big stage for Cat to change people's perception around him, that stars can't go back home, fix their games, become more fundamental under the previous coaches that coached them. But man, this is huge for these two guys. I mean, you talk about trying to make inroads with other players. I mean, look, everybody's gonna be watching these guys, right? And I mean, get it, have capacity, so it's not like yesteryear, right? But still, the impact to say, hey, New York is on the map. We got players that you might want to play with in terms of star players as well as some role players, whoever they keep, right? They're gonna make a certain trade for a certain player. Hey, we got some guys that you might want to play alongside. Maybe you all know the one impediment that's in the way of said star player or players coming through to get to that next level unless they find the right type of players. And it's difficult to do that, right? This team has talked about disgruntled stars and all this crap for the past few years. And let's be honest, Tom Thibodeau, unfortunately, that's my guy. I'm a Tom Thibodeau fan. I'm a fan of his coaching. But a lot of these stars, they don't want to be with the so-called fundamental coach. They want the guy that's going to coddle them, allow them to be them, and find a way to get the star players all fine, play well alongside each other, get the depth guys, which we don't really have right now, to all work out. So you look at this team, a very top-heavy Knicks team, you might have to trade one of your starters to get 2 players, or you trade one of your starters to get that big-time player. Pack some players. Look, I'm not Brock Aller, and Brock Aller we trust. Actually, I totally forgot. Let me chill out. And Brock Aller we trust. But I don't see many guys coming over to the Knicks to play alongside a fundamental coach like Tom Thibodeau that will play you the minutes, that wants you to play fundamental basketball, wants you to play the right way. That's going to give you leeway to play your game, right? The Knicks run a crap load of read and react. So it's not act as if Tom Thibodeau's out there calling the plays each and every time. He allows you that freedom, but within that freedom, there are confines, right? You got to do certain things. You got to be in certain spots, right? Spacing is a big thing. I'm not even going to get into that. You already know Tom Thibodeau's ethos. You know how he moves, right? And I think that when you look at this All-Star game, despite that Brunson and Cat may kill it and bring true attention to the Knicks to say, hey, this is a premier stop, it's always going to be Tom Thibodeau. Look at the past few championship teams. Outside of the one coach in Mike Malone with the Denver Nuggets, and he's been there for years. He's an extreme example. A lot of the coaches are so-called replacement level coach. Now, Joe Mazzulla is a weird situation because of the Udoka thing that happened in Boston. Look at the other coaches, man. Steve Kerr, Budenholzer, Nick Nurse all fall within that paradigm of the championship level coach should get him to the next level, which I think is, in many ways, I think it's somewhat of a fallacy, but it is what it is. And given Brunson's, relatively cheap but ascending contract, you really have a year or so, because then Mikal Bridges becomes a free agent, I believe, after next season. And so you're looking at really have 1 year to try to see what this team is made of. Are you going to trade their star player? Are you going to re-sign Mikal to a bigger contract away from that $20+ million that he's making? And then you're going to really be in the second apron with his contract once it comes due. If you re-sign him, assuming you have all the same contracts and whatnot, it's going to be tough to really sell a star player to say, hey, man, you got to sit up there and cry to your original team or your current team to get out of that situation and come over to the Knicks. They're going to say, well, you got Tibbs over there, and I want to play for Tibbs. I don't think that's the case at every other player, but you got to find the right guys. We don't have a whole bunch of guys in the NBA all from, these high fundamental schools, jump with the 2 feet when you're going for a dunk, like you have with, say, Villanova, right? And Jay Wright's gone, right? So it's tough, man. It sucks. I do think that these guys can bring some great attention to New York, but Tom Thibodeau will always be the guy that other players don't trust. If the Knicks cannot get past the second round this season, now if the season ended today, I believe they play the Detroit Pistons, which actually be an interesting matchup in the first round, because my son, Kincaid Cunningham, definitely is putting on as one of the best premier facilitators, playmakers in the league. If you don't want to call him a so-called point guard, still think the Knicks would be able to beat him. But then you're talking about next round, right? Cavaliers, who are a tougher match this season. Even though I still think the game that we lost to them, we lost that. Brunson was chucking shots. Anyway, top for a different day. You have the Celtics. So it really depends on how the Knicks fare out in the second round. Get past the second round, can get into the ECF. Now we're talking, right? People are going to see the elevation of Tom Thibodeau's, so-called elevation of Tom Thibodeau's game, because right now the Knicks have like the 8th best scoring offense, the 8th best scoring defense, or defense in terms of points per game allowed. Yeah, he doesn't get credit for that, right? Taking all these parts, these moving parts throughout the years and trying to make the best, trying to get a top 10 offense and defense each and try to make it work. But people don't care. People care about bringing the shiny new name with the new offensive thing that's going to have Jericho Sims shooting threes and all that crap. And then, oh, wow, championship level team, right? Word to Mark Jackson getting screwed over. And so a lot of it's going to depend on Tom Thibodeau and what he does in the playoffs, right? People complain about the minutes. People think there's some diminishing returns. You just saw in this past game against the Kings when these guys get rest. First game, you see Mikal and OG have, a 50-burger together. Take out the 40-point game by Mikal Bridges versus the Spurs. And, it's beautiful to see the Wings be able to operate in such a manner. Not many minutes tonight against the Kings. I think Cali had like 27. He played probably a minute or so too much. But can that persist into the playoffs? Can that translate into the playoffs? Can that translate and turn into wins in the second round? We still need depth. We still need a trade for a healthy center or a wing, some type of wing, defensive wing that could give you maybe some 3-and-D ability as well too. Sit out in the corner, maybe hit some shots. But Knicks are still a work in progress. But how Tom Thibodeau finishes this season in terms of the work in progress will be important. Losing the first round, he might be gone. Losing the second round in a certain fashion, got all these pieces and they're healthy and they still can't get over the top because last year so many guys were hurt. Tom Thibodeau might be out. Now they're searching for that new coach who's going to bring him over the hump. But you're going to be going back to say, oh, look what's happening. Look what's happening in Cleveland, right? With Atkinson, with the former coach that we had here, that coached up Donovan Mitchell. Well, I'm doing a terrible job of remembering. They'll say, oh, every assistant coach that was over here with the Knicks, people, oh, he's got to be the one to coach the Knicks. And again, most fans don't even know who they really want as the so-called next coach for the Knicks, right? A lot of unprovens out there. Jerry Stackhouses and all this talk about who should be the next guy to take over. Johnny Bryant. Damn, I couldn't remember this dude's name, man. And that goes to show you, a lot of these assistant coaches, no offense to Johnny Bryant, don't really do anything, but yet everybody wants him to take over as coach. So we'll see, big yo. Guys, let me know your thoughts, comments. Again, congrats to Jalen Brunson. Congrats to karl-anthony-towns for making the playoffs. This is major for New York, putting us further on the map, making us a preferred stop for some of these hesitant stars, disgruntled players who are looking for their next homes. Right? Makes it a little bit easier for a guy like Brock Aller when he knows he may have some leverage with the player who wants to go to a certain team. Now, it all depends on how you end a relationship, right? Look at Jimmy Butler. He wants to go to the Suns, but Heat are like, we don't give a damn. But that's a topic for another day. So hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the dark notification bell so you get each and every notification for each and every video. Let me know your thoughts on this. Is Tom Thibodeau the biggest impediment to the Knicks getting that so-called second apron roster, at least in the near future? Obviously, Brock Aller has, he controls the cap. He's the prophet of cap for the Knicks, at least until he gets hired as a GM someplace. Right? He's a brainiac for the Knicks, but we'll see. It's your boy G-Mo, Legion Knicks. I appreciate you. Peace and God bless. I'll see you guys on the next one.